The movie opens with Will Grady and his girlfriend, Summer Ellswick, exploring a house in the Whitcomb neighborhood, which they plan to showcase to potential buyers. The neglected state of the house becomes apparent, with Summer discovering signs of infestation by rats and even a snake. As the day unfolds, tension arises between the couple, starting with Summer rejecting Will's advances within the property. Suspicions deepen as Summer's conversation with her best friend Renee reveals her infidelity. Meanwhile, Will, on his way to a real estate marketing presentation, calls Summer but gets her voicemail. Seeking advice, he confides in his mother, Camille, before confidently addressing the audience and noticing Summer's absence. That night, Will confronts Summer about her absence, and she claims to have fallen asleep. Angry and frustrated, Will opts to sleep on the downstairs couch. In the midst of relationship turmoil, Summer returns alone to the Whitcomb house, days later for her real estate duties. While preparing the property and texting Will, an unidentified person enters through the back door. Simultaneously, Will, engaged in signing documents for a foreclosed property sale, receives a text from Summer asking him to come to the Whitcomb house. Concerned, he decides to check on her. Upon arrival, he discovers Summer's lifeless body in an upstairs bedroom, a knife protruding from her side. The narrative then shifts to homicide detective Tom attending a party with his wife, Judy, alongside close friends, including Robert Allen, Judy's uncle, and the local police department captain. Robert steps away for an urgent call, and he and Tom are summoned to investigate the crime scene. Arriving amidst a swarm of police cars and curious onlookers, Tom's partner, Dan, briefs them on the death of the realtor. Upon discovering Summer's body with the knife lodged in her, Tom and Dan initiate their investigation. They interview a neighbor who witnessed a man entering the house that day, noting his slight limp. She also mentions a car seen leaving the area, initially identified as a Buick Lisa Bar, but later confirmed to be a maroon Chrysler Imperial after checking the street camera, although it remains elusive. The police identify two suspects from this information. Tom meets Will at the police station, learning about Will's year-and-a-half relationship with Summer. Will desired to marry her, but she was still married to Sam Gifford. After taking Will's fingerprints, DNA, and photographs from him, the police, including Robert and Wally, decide to release him. After an all-night effort, Tom returns home to ongoing renovations. The contractor apologizes for a kitchen mishap and assures Tom of no extra charges. Marty, the chief of police, questions Robert's confidence in Tom leading the investigation, given his past. Despite doubts, Robert insists on Tom leading. Marty updates the waiting reporters on the murder investigation. Tom and Dan visit Will, who lets Tom keep a picture of Summer and her husband, Sam. Tom and Dan visit Renee, show a picture of Sam to Renee, who claims not to know him. Subsequently, they visit Sam's house, informing him of Summer's death. Sam insists he was fishing alone on the day in question, refusing to discuss the matter further. At a dance hall, Wally distributes key rings with his security consulting company's logo to his tablemates. The next day, Tom shares Summer's sales report with Dan, revealing that she sold 6 houses without receiving any commissions. Eli visits the Grady house, talking to Will in a subtly threatening manner after Summer's death. Eli's was present too at murder scene earlier. The following day, Dan informs Tom that Summer's phone pinged in a town 45 minutes away from the murder site the night before her death. Tom recalls that Summer sold a property in that town 14 months ago and decides to investigate. Upon reaching the property, Tom finds a rural church with paint similar to that on Summer's wrist. The church caretaker mentions that volunteers painted it and denies recognizing Summer, Sam, or Will from the pictures Tom shows. Meanwhile, at Summer's funeral service, Will approaches Tom, revealing Eli's attempt to enter his mother's house. Will shares the history of his family's farm purchase from Eli's father, who later committed suicide, hinting at Eli's grudge against his family. Tom advises Will to be cautious, but acknowledges his limitations in dealing with Eli at the moment. Later, a police officer provides Tom with Summer's phone records, revealing her call to the FBI and expressing concerns about narcotics activity, tells him that the FBI confirms Summer called them and that they gave her the DEA's number. The DEA claims she never called them. Tom and Dan confront Eli about his presence at the crime scene and request a DNA sample, but Eli refuses, insisting that Will is the culprit. In a meeting with Robert and Marty, Tom and Dan discover a record of Summer's husband's vehicle at the lake where he claimed to be fishing during the murder. Despite Summer's call to the FBI, there's no corresponding record in their department. They meet Renee again, who later discloses to Tom, Dan that Summer was still involved with her husband, Sam, who is engaged in drug dealing. She kept this information hidden initially due to her ex-husband's objections to talking to the police. Subsequently, Will recounts entering the house, calling for Summer, and attempting CPR. During their discussion, Tom receives a call, leading them to Sam's house. As Tom and Dan approach Sam's house, Dan instructs the local police to form a perimeter but not to approach. Upon entering, gunfire erupts as Sam seizes Dan's handgun. Tom engages in a firefight with Sam, who escapes through a window only to be later found dead from Tom's shot in the back. Wally reports the discovery of 13 kilos of heroin, with Tom noticing the unique tape used to package the drugs. The next night, Tom attends a party and converses with Robert, learning that he's been recommended for the Medal of Valor for saving Dan's life. Meanwhile, Eli recognizes a person on the news, pulled from a crashed car, as someone working for Will and his mother. The police find 13 kilos of heroin in the crashed vehicle. Simultaneously, Tom watches coverage notices the packages of heroin have the same unique tape on them as what he saw Wally put on the 13 kilos of heroin found at Sam's house. Later that night, Tom responds to a break-in at Will's company office. Though the front door is shattered, Will claims nothing was stolen, and Dan speculates about Eli's involvement. While driving home, Tom's wife Judy investigates a sound outside their home, and when Tom gets home, he discovers water spilling into the driveway. Opening the gate, he finds Eli kneeling by the pool, and Judy holding a handgun, having accidentally shot at the pool while trying to scare away Eli for entering their home. Eli informs Tom that Summer was being exploited by a company called Whitefish & Questions if Tom knows Rudy Rakoczy, an associate of Will and his mother. Rudy was apprehended with 13 kilos of heroin. Uniformed police officers arrive, taking Eli away hastily. As he is being escorted, Eli shouts to Tom that Will was laundering drug money. After Eli is taken away, Tom notices a USB thumb drive left behind by Eli. The following day, Tom examines the files on the thumb drive, feeling uncertain about whom he can trust. He discovers records of Summer's real estate sales and asset forfeiture documents with a company named Whitefish Assets, in Cell, repeatedly listed as the buyer for civil asset forfeiture properties. Tom learns that Summer didn't receive any commissions for these sales. Seeking more information, he visits the city's records office, finding details about drug-related civil asset forfeitures. One property listed for sale has Camille as the broker. Suspecting he's being followed, Tom contacts a private source who reveals that Whitefish is inactive. However, the source mentions another company with the same address, Active Duty Consulting. Tom immediately connects it to Wally's company. Checking with the police evidence office, Tom discovers that Rudy Rakoczy was a confidential informant for the police department. He confirms the unique tape on Rakoczy's heroin package matches the one Wally used on Sam's package. Moreover, Tom learns that the packages from Sam's house were sent for disposal by Wally the morning before Rakoczy's arrest and the storage of his evidence. Calling for Rakoczy's phone records, Tom discovers that Rakoczy called a number ending in 3586 17 times on the day Summer was murdered. When Tom calls the number, Camille's and Will's phones ring. Later, Eli is bailed out of jail by LILC bail bonds. Returning to his apartment, he encounters Will, demanding the return of what Eli took. Suddenly, Eli senses someone behind him, though the person remains unseen. The next day, Wally joins Tom in the police station's lunchroom, subtly hinting that Tom should keep quiet about Wally's illegal drug activities. Tom then visits Eli's apartment, but finds it empty. Outside, he receives another call about Rakoczy's phone records, revealing that the 3586 number belongs to a property trust listed under 006. The next morning, Tom retrieves the thumb drive, concealing it in his boot. He attends Robert's birthday party with Judy. Wally repeatedly stares at Tom, prompting Wally to approach and question why Tom is avoiding him. Tom denies any avoidance, hoping Robert will disclose secrets when they talk. He removes a thumb drive from his boot, but Robert only mentions his upcoming Medal of Valor. Wally came in and congratulates Tom, and the thumb drive goes back into Tom's boot. Later, in Robert's garage, Tom discovers a repainted car, a Chrysler Imperial matching the one from the murder scene that they've been looking for. Robert claims he's storing it for someone but refuses to reveal the owner. While driving home, Judy questions why Tom didn't mention the $20,000 that comes with the medal. They get pulled over by a police officer who said that Tom stopped completely at the stop sign, requested for his IE. Dean congratulates Tom for the medal, raising Tom's suspicions. The officer lets them go with a warning but follows Tom home. His wife insists on knowing what's happening. He told her to ask her uncle, and he then reveals to Judy that Whitefish is Wally and Will's business, involving planting drugs in houses for seizure, followed by Whitefish purchasing the properties. Summer, unaware of their activities, was killed when she intended to report them to the FBI or DEA. Judy suggests telling Robert, but Tom believes he already knows, given the Chrysler in his garage. Robert calls Tom, and before answering, Tom instructs Judy to pack a bag. Robert wants to meet Tom the next morning at 9 a.m. Tom hangs up and tells Judy they'll be sleeping elsewhere. Robert reassures Wally that Tom has kept quiet in the past, and he'll do it again. Later that night, Tom informs Chief of Police Marty about his suspicions, shares documents, and mentions the car found in Robert's garage. Marty probes if Robert mentioned the car's owner, but does not divulge further information. The following morning, Tom and Marty drive to Robert's house. Robert welcomes them inside and offers coffee. Tom mentions they need to talk about the car and Martyr said, and some other things. Robert suggests they discuss matters upstairs, with Marty saying he'll join them shortly, that it need to take a leak. Once Marty walks away, Robert urges Tom to leave, revealing that Marty now knows everything because Tom gave him the thumb drive. As Robert ascends the stairs, he's suddenly shot. Tom confronts Marty, and in an attempt to defend himself, Marty tries to shoot Tom. However, Tom fires first. Both Tom and Wally find themselves pointing handguns at each other. A distraction occurs as a frisbee hits the outside window, distracting Wally. Seizing the opportunity, Tom shoots Wally, who retaliates by firing at Tom. Injured, Tom manages to grab Wally's handgun and sits down. Wally, facing the consequences, requests Tom to end his life, but Tom chooses to call 911 instead. Later, Will is golfing when two golf carts arrive with FBI agents, leading to Will's arrest. The movie concludes with this dramatic turn of events. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.